when I was in junior high, I started taking piano lessons from a university professor. And then with the organ, I started studying in high school with a professor at the same university. And then I originally enrolled at that university as an organ major. I decided it wasn't something that I was going to pursue as a vocation. As an organist, it's difficult to make a living as an organist, and it's one of the things you do on the side, and you do for the love of it. And actually, I feel lucky now. I feel fortunate. This disability has allowed me to be a full-time organist, whereas I would not have had that opportunity if I was still working a full-time job. I woke up one morning in late November to get up for work as normal, and the room was spinning. Spent the whole morning on the bathroom floor, and eventually managed to crawl back to bed. And called into work saying, I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I've got the flu or something like that. But I've got vertigo, and this is really bad. Then the next day, it was gone. The vertigo was gone, but there was something off. The world just didn't look right anymore. And so my next concern was, boy, I have to play in church on Sunday morning. I'm not sure if I don't know if I can do that. A few days later, I was able to go in to see my ENT. He ran some tests and had an MRI and things like that. And we did the VNG, and his response from the VNG was that the results were all over the place, like he suspected. So he sent me to a specialist that ran the same tests, and he was able to determine that I had vestibular neuritis. And my wife told me later that up until that moment, she thought it was something that maybe I was overreacting. She didn't say that there wasn't anything wrong with me, but maybe I was overreacting how I felt. It's like they always say, you look okay on the outside, but you don't feel okay on the inside. And nothing that they can see shows that you don't feel okay. I don't remember my emotional status. I think I was more concerned with, my job, what was going to happen. Will I be able to go back to work? Will it go away? And the specialist actually put in his notes, and I think this really helped me when I applied for disability. He wrote that I should be prepared for long-term disability. My employer was just great. But the hardest things were, one, not going into work every day and seeing the people that my friends, my colleagues, and just knowing what to do every day. 6 months later, when I got the call from Human Resources saying that I'd been terminated because the short-term disability had run out, even though they would rehire me anytime. That was just a really difficult day. I just sobbed and sobbed. I was proud of the work I did. I did good work, and I was a good employee. And I just felt bad. I felt bad that I put them in this situation, even though I didn't do anything myself. But I felt bad that they had to be in this situation. Ella was a German Shepherd. She was just a beautiful soul. And she became my constant companion. She She was my angel. I mean, she kept me active. She kept me, she kept me going. She kind of gave me purpose, because, our purpose was, okay, Ella, where do you want to go today? Which direction do you want to go? And she'd look around a little bit and then decide which way she want to go, and that's where we'd go. She and I started walking, and when you have a vestibular disorder, walking is not the easiest thing to do in the world. You can walk, you just can't walk straight, I would go to physical therapy then, and I would always be way ahead of the curve, because I would take all these tests and it would say, well, you're doing really well. And I said, well, that's because we walk 4, 5, 6 miles every day. But I found that walking with a dog at the end of the leash, it gives you something to concentrate on. And then the weight of the dog gives you kind of a counterbalance. It's physical therapy is what it is. But she taught me to keep going, no matter what. And she taught me to have joy too. She was so full of joy. I only took the one Sunday off from church. At that church where I played at that time, I was in an organ loft, looking down on the sanctuary, and I'm thinking, this isn't good. Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to sit up here? Am I going to be able to play? If I wasn't able to play anymore, I don't know what I would do. I still have a good life, but I would be so empty without that. I didn't think that I would be able to play again, at least to any level that I would be happy with. And I probably play, in some ways I play better than I ever have my whole life. And it's because I've had the opportunity to be that. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to be that if it wasn't for this. One door closes, when another one opens. You hate to, but it's true. It's absolutely true. I'm kind of a private person, and I don't like to draw attention to myself. And then one day we were talking about something at a patient education meeting. And Glenn Schweitzer said, my story and as a vestibular musician would be really interesting. And I thought, well, okay, maybe I do have a story to tell. So I started the blog, the Dizzy Fingers blog, initially to reach out to other musicians, not just musicians with vestibular disorders, but with really any kind of disability that inhibits their abilities, or where they felt they've had to change their approach to playing. You may have to change the way you approach your instrument. You may have to limit what or where you can play or how you play, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. You just have to keep trying and just don't give up. Especially for new patients that are struggling, that it's okay. It's really okay. You'll make it. If I can do it, not just being a musician, but if I can live a good life, productive life, then the next person can too.